Are you struggling to stay consistent on your raw vegan journey? You start out strong. You're eating all the fruits, making beautiful raw meals, feeling incredible. And then someone might mention those nuts aren't really raw. Or you're really hungry for dinner, but you don't feel like fruit, but that's what you're supposed to have. Or you can't find fully raw walnuts, so you're starving. And suddenly, this lifestyle that started out feeling fun and exciting, so full of abundance, starts feeling stressful, confusing. You're hearing three different sets of rules that you feel like you're just constantly breaking. And you're no longer thinking, look at all this amazing food I'm eating. You're thinking, am I doing this right? Am I raw enough? If that sounds familiar, I want to share something with you today that completely changed how I approach this. This is why I use the word raw inspired instead of saying fully raw. And it's not just about the food, it's about keeping the joy in this journey instead of turning it into a stress filled rule book. Because here's what I've learned: when you lose the fun, you lose the consistency. So stick with me because in this video, I'm going to show you how to maximize raw foods while keeping your mind focused on abundance, joy, and what actually works in your real life instead of stressing over every little technicality. Here's what I see happen all the time: someone discovers the raw vegan eating, they get into it, they're eating fruit, making raw meals, trying new things, they're even posting it online, and it feels good and it feels exciting and it feels like an adventure. Then they start encountering all these different opinions. You're not raw if you eat greens. Only fruit is fully raw. And that dressing, that has spices in it, and that's not raw either. And suddenly, if you're hungry and you can't find avocados, you just go to bed hungry because you shouldn't eat beans or quinoa. By the way, that actually happened to me. And what started out as fun, as an adventure, as something that made you feel good, turns into stress, turns into confusion, into second guessing every single choice. And then you're no longer thinking, wow, look at all this amazing fresh food I'm eating. You're thinking, am I raw enough? Am I doing this right? And that stress, that confusion, it sabotages your consistency. And something stops being fun, it starts feeling like you're constantly failing. Your brain wants to quit. So here's what I do differently. And here's why I say raw inspired instead of fully raw. As a vegan, I have clear boundaries for moral decisions. I don't consciously eat anything with meat or dairy, and that's a non negotiable for me. But as a raw vegan, I allow myself flexibility, not because I don't value raw foods. I absolutely do. I love raw. In fact, I spend all day and all evening talking about it. I know the incredible benefits. That's why I healed so many conditions. But I allow flexibility so that I can keep my mind focused on abundance and nutrients instead of rules and restriction. I know you want things to be clear cut. We all do. We want to know, is this raw or not raw? But what if instead of obsessing over raw or not raw, we focused on maximizing raw foods, having fun, and being kind to ourselves, looking at the overall picture? Because if we're running around stressing and starving ourselves, our cortisol is going up, and that can even cause insulin resistance. Our body is like a complete machine. We have to look at it that way. Both our mind and our body are connected. And what if the goal isn't perfection, but it's flooding your body with as much fresh, raw, nutrient dense food as possible? And if that includes some strategic cooked foods that help you stay satisfied and consistent, that's wisdom. Let me tell you why this matters so much to me. Back in 2019, when I first started this journey, I didn't know all the rules. I had watched a documentary that took me from the standard American diet into what I was calling a raw vegan diet. And I was making these big, huge salads every day. I had went out and bought all these fruits and vegetables, and actually, that salad recipe is still the same one that I eat every evening. And that's on my website at gladblueprint.com. I have a free meal plan there, by the way, if you want to check it out after the video. In the beginning, I was using store bought dressing, spices that probably weren't fully raw, walnuts, and cashews from the store that may not have been perfectly raw. But you know what? In the midst of that, from flooding my body with all fresh, whole foods, eliminating meat and dairy, I lost 55 pounds, eliminated my lifelong seasonal allergies, and check this out, I ended 18 years of chronic back pain in just 30 days. All that while being imperfect. And as I mentioned in my last video, if I had focused on what was wrong instead of what was right, if someone had told me that's not raw enough, you're doing it wrong, I never would have changed my life. That may have sabotaged my journey. And I might still be struggling with those conditions. I might have never discovered this amazing lifestyle and met all of you and had the vegan knowledge community. And that's why I focus on beginners because I'm passionate about it. I know what it's like out there. I've been through it for 7 years in the raw vegan community. I know it can get confusing. I know it can feel restrictive, but this is meant to be fun, joyous, and abundant. And I became in love with raw foods. Every night as I was making these salads, I would literally watch transformational stories, the health benefits of every fruit and vegetable you could imagine. And I discovered for myself, along with my own healing, what an amazing lifestyle this is. I could feel the difference. When I add the maximum amount of raw food into my life, I feel 100% better, clarity. But what I also noticed is that if I don't allow myself the flexibility, to have quinoa and beans when I'm feeling like I need something else to fill up. I also notice that it puts me on a cycle of going fully raw and then to processed food, fully raw, processed food. And I realized what worked in the beginning was not knowing all the rules. I'm not saying it's unimportant to learn about raw foods and which ones maximize your nutrients. And if you want to follow a certain plan, I think that's great. If you're fully raw, that's wonderful if it's working for you. I'm here talking to those of you who aren't able to make this lifestyle stick, who always feel confused, that it feels restrictive, and at least in the beginning. Lean into the foods you love. I love it because you can also eat as much as you want. It's not restrictive, and that's one of the beauties of this lifestyle. So if you start to see it going down a road that's stressing you out, I want you to feel that this lifestyle is magical and be focused on that, not the technicalities. The magic of flooding your body with fresh fruits and vegetables, the magic of feeling good, the magic of healing. And here's something interesting I've noticed. I totally believe in the million benefits of raw food. I love raw food, but here's the paradox. The more I learned, instead of it getting easier to stay raw, it got harder because sometimes that childlike fun of trying new foods, that excitement, that discovery, that joy of experimenting, it can get burned down by a comment of what's raw and what's not. I don't want you to feel bad about your choices when you should be feeling amazing about all the good you're doing for your body. And here's the truth, what you put your focus on matters so much more than you think. If you're constantly focusing on what you can't have, if you're constantly worried about breaking rules, your brain experiences that as stress, as restriction. And remember, how you can apply this to your life can be unique to you. But that's why in my club, I teach a simplified version. We start simply, we focus on abundance. Maybe you thrive on a very high raw lifestyle with occasional cooked foods. We don't just talk about raw inspired as a concept. We help you figure out how to love raw food and what works for your life, your body, your schedule, and your goals. We help you maximize raw foods while also staying satisfied, consistent, and mentally aligned and stress free. And we're not doing it alone. We have a community of my VIPs all on the same path as you, all figuring out their version of a raw inspired life. Without judgment, without stress, with encouragement and celebration. So, if you've been stressing out whether you're raw enough, if you've been feeling bad about your food choices instead of feeling good, if you've been so focused on the rules that you've lost sight of the abundance and the fun and the adventure, here's what I want you to hear. Focus on how good these foods make you feel, the nutrients you're flooding your body with. Focus on the abundance you're choosing and let go of the stress about perfection because a joyful person eating 80% raw consistently beats a stressed person trying for 100% perfection. And if you're still here, I know you're serious about this lifestyle, and I know you already have everything inside you to succeed. So if you're ready to simplify your raw inspired journey and finally make this lifestyle stick with live coaching from myself, access to all my courses, workshops, daily motivation, fun resets, games, and challenges, and a community of VIPs all on the same path as you, all designed to encourage and uplift you to achieve your health goals. So go ahead and click the link down in the description or in the comments, and I'll see you inside. By the way, I'm Coach JJ, also known as Veganowledge JJ. I'm your raw inspired mindset coach and author of the book How I Went From Sad to Glad, my simple 4-step blueprint to transform your health, weight, and mindset to finally reach your goals with joy and ease. And I'm going to be saving you a seat in the clubhouse. So go ahead and click that link, and I'll see you on my next coaching call. If not, or if so, I'll see you at least in the next video.